So let's talk about strategic pricing and why this is so very important. If you have not priced your services correctly, it doesn't matter how much marketing you do, how much foot traffic you have. If you have not priced those services correctly, none of that will matter, and it will detrimentally impact your business, right? So some of the things that you need to look at when you are setting your prices is, one, what are the products that are required? If they're super high end, and it's going to price you out of services or where your typical client is coming from, you need to be considering those aspects, right? So what is the pricing? What is the education and the training around it? How many of your therapists will be able to provide it? If it's only one, that makes it much more challenging than if it's 3 or 5 individuals. Understanding the space that is required. Understanding the demand for those experiences. How long is it going to take to be able to see the intended results for this particular service? Be that waxing, be that body treatment, massage, facial. How long is it going to take them to be able to see that? Can they see it or be introduced to it in the first treatment? And then how many more do they need? But it really is, I just can't impress upon you enough. Really making sure that you understand that you sit down with each and every service that you have, and you sit down and you calculate out what is the cost to provide this service. And then once you are able to do that, can you then look at different strategies to be able to promote it? Are there services or retail offerings that you can bring in and include with it? What is the training and what is the refresher training for this particular service or experience? All of those factor into your pricing. And there's certain things that you can increase the price for. So if it's an organic product, usually that allows for a little bit of a higher price point. If it's a very well-known brand, so when I was at a high-end property, we had a high-end French luxury line. One of the products was $900. You got to factor that into, we didn't really use that in the treatment rooms, let me clarify. But because it was that higher price point, then that was one of the higher price point products. It was also one of our higher price services. And so you want to be thinking about that. You want to have like your basic, your entry level, be that facial, be that body treatment, be that massage, be that just a basic mani-pedi, and then moving up to that mid-range. And you really want to push that mid-range to that advance. But if you just have one price or one offering and that's it, it's kind of hard. It's darn near impossible to upgrade them to other experiences, right? So being mindful of that and having that pricing range in those tiers where you kind of come in with that basic, that lower level, that mid-range level, and that higher level, and then you have the products for each. What I will also say is you don't need 16 lines, maybe 3. Right? Or maybe 2, and one of those has a range of products where one is kind of maybe mid-level to high, or one is more of that entry-level experience. But when you look at pricing, all of that plays into it. The same is going to be true when you look at pricing for your retail. I've said it before. We had To Go Spa, which is one of the few companies that I will mention in the videos because I actually like them and know them well and love their products. The rest, you got to pay me for that. But To Go Spa, when you go to the shows and you buy the pillow pads, they tell you like it can retail about $15. Well, I was at a high-end property. We retailed it for $25 because our clients were not as price sensitive and they were used to paying for that amount of money. The other thing that I would highly suggest is really understanding your consumer. And there's been a ton of studies with various lotion brands, soap brands, where they were able to spell the name different and charge more, because there is this equation of if it costs more, it's going to generate better results. And it was the same as the cheap brand, they just changed the name. So understanding your demographic and price points. A lot of times we're like, oh, I don't know if I want to price it that because my consumers might not get it. And that could be true in your location. But if you're in a higher end demographic and it's cheap, people are worried and suspect. They expect to pay for quality. So let them do such. Pay for the quality experience, pay for that upgrade, pay for that, the results that I want to be able to walk away with from my experience. Now, again, we are very blessed in this industry that we have intake forms, and that should be one of the things that you include on the intake is what are your goals for the sessions? What is it that you're trying to achieve? You know, are you getting ready for a wedding? Are you traveling? Are you going through any stage of menopause or puberty that's impacting your hormones and your overall body? And then you can really customize that experience. The other caveat to understanding your pricing beyond the revenue management. Revenue management is more of a last step in the process and not necessarily the first step. The first step in understanding how to implement revenue management is to really understand your pricing. And so things like indigenous products, things like the ability to customize an experience, if that's the products, if that's, you know, the overall experience, I can select this, and this in my experience. What the research has found is people are willing to pay more for that customizable, that unique interaction. But it has to be that. If you're going to charge a premium for this unique, customizable experience, then you need to make sure that you are giving exactly that experience and going above and beyond guest expectations. You can charge more, you can charge a premium for those types of experiences, but you have to be able to back it up with what that experience is going to be. So again, as you're looking at pricing, what does it cost you in time, in product, in training, in the availability, in the room, right? Like, what is the special room required for this? What does that look like? And then with the revenue management, then you can customize it, and maybe you don't offer it on a Saturday because it interferes with, you know, a busier day. And maybe that's a treatment that you only offer Monday through Friday. So that's how this concept of pricing and revenue management go together, because it doesn't matter the amount of marketing, it doesn't matter the fluff and buff, the material that you produce. If you are not priced correctly, you will not have longevity because the margins are not big to begin with. And so making sure you are maximizing it, not abusing it, not overusing it, but maximizing your earning potentials. With that, thank you so much. It's truly been a pleasure, and I will see you next time. Be well.